Hey, what's up guys, this is Fatal Cubes here. In this video I have an interesting tutorial. I'll be showing you guys how to implement sound into the 2048 game. This is the first of the extension series to 2048. So in the last video we finished creating the game, and now I wanted to continue the series by adding in a few things here and there, and I wanted to put this tutorial out for how to add sound for those who are interested. This tutorial will cover playing sounds that are MP3 or WAV. So to do MP3 sounds, you actually need to import libraries. So go ahead and create a new folder here called libs, and this is where we're going to put the three libraries. I'll have a download link for them, but they're basically these three: JLayer, MP3, and Tritonus. Alright, add those in. These are for since Java doesn't have built-in ways of decoding MP3 files, you need to use an open source library. Alright, so select these all, right click, and then do build path, add to build path. This will create a reference libraries tab where with these three jars here. That basically allows us to use their classes and such. Next, go ahead and make a new folder called res. This means resources, and right click, add to build path. Build path uses source. Well, no, use as source folder, just like I did there. And in here we are going to put two sounds. So I'm just going to copy them over from my other screen. The two sound effects are pretty simple. There's a song. Okay. This is a full song. It's, as you can tell, over 4 minutes long. And this is an MP3, because having an uncompressed sound file, as background music, would just take up so much storage space. This is the song. It's Anatsu Man on the Run. Alright, I hope that's not copyrighted. If it is, please forgive me. And this click.wave is a clicking sound effect for when you slide the tiles. Now I got it from this website here, freesound.org. You guys can there's tons of free sound effects here, so you can probably find a lot of different things and just download it as a .wave. Pretty easy. Alright, now let's get into actually programming the code to play the sounds. So make a new class called audio handler. Now, because you only need one audio handler in your game, you don't need multiple audio handlers. We're going to create a singleton class of this. Basically, we're going to create one private static variable called audio handler. We're also going to create a private constructor. So at this point, you cannot create this class. You can't instantiate the class unless you're inside of the class. Alright, if that makes sense. And as a singleton pattern suggests, you have one method that's public static called getInstance. And this basically checks if your one instance that you have, if it's null, then create a new version of it. And then go ahead and return that instance. This way, what you can do in the code is basically say, alright, well, this class needs to use sound files. So go ahead and do it. Audio handler AH equals audio handler dot get instance. And basically what this will do is it'll get the one instance that's stored in memory. This is unlike the keyboard class that has no instance. This is not a singleton class pattern. It just has a bunch of static methods that you can call from wherever. Alright. So you'll see how we use that in the future in a bit. You also need a private Hashmap. This is how we're going to store all the sound effects. And so if you didn't know, oops, my bad. Sounds. Clip is the Java is the Java way of handling sound. Java x.sound.sample.clip. It'll basically store the audio data in memory so that you can replay it at any point at any time as long as you have it. Go ahead and set sounds equal to a new hash map of string clip, and there we go. So this will hold all of our sound effects and they'll be labeled by name. Alright, now let's get into loading the sound effects. Now I'll admit I'm not a big I'm not very good at sound. I was just learning, and this is what I came to. So if you guys are really interested in understanding everything about sound and like how to use the libraries that I gave you, I have provided this link here, Java Lobby. Just go to this link up top, and this will give you a nice understanding of how to get the MP3 sounds using the libraries that I showed you guys, and it will basically convert it over to something that Java can use. It's got some good stuff here, so read that if you're interested. If you're not, just copy the code I'm doing. This is stuff that you'll never have to rewrite or really understand, actually. It's one of those times in code where you just need to know how to do it. But anyway, the first thing we're going to do is locate the resource. So create a URL called resource and set it equal to audio handler, the class, get class loader, get resource, and then the resource path. Alright, that'll establish a URL, basically a path directory to our sound files. Then create an audio input stream and set it equal to null, because right here we're going to have to create a try catch. Make sure you input the audio input stream. I'm pretty sure that's what the error is. Control Shift L and print the stack trace. Alright, input is going to be equal to the audio system dot get audio input stream audio input stream of the URL resource. So this takes in one parameter. Now you can pass in different parameters, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to create a resource like this. Alright, so at this point you've loaded in the file, you've gotten the audio input stream, and we need to basically decode the format. So we know that the format is MP3 because of the libraries that are installed. They detected this as an MP3 file and marked it as an MP3 file, but now we have to convert it over to PCM, which stands for something that I can't remember right now. So get the audio format like this, input.get format, import that, bunch of imports, a lot of the sound. You could just do javax.sound.sample like asterisk to import them all. Now here we want to check to see if it's a WAV file. So if the base format .get encoding equals audio format .encoding .pcm signed, basically it's already converted over. Then all we need to do is create a clip. This is how you can't just instantiate a clip by doing clip C equals new clip, because clip is an interface, so that's important to understand. Exception E. Again, a lot of try catches with sound. There's a lot of places where things could mess up. And open the clip using that input stream that we made up top, and put it in the hash map with the name parameter that was passed in and the clip, and then return, because at this point we said, alright, this is a .wav file, we don't need to decode it, so let's just put it in the array, put it in the hash map and leave it, and just abandon this method. If it's not PCM signed, then we need to decode it, obviously. So this is what we're going to do. First of all, we need to create a audio format called decoded format, and this is going to be a new format, and we're going to specify a bunch of things. This is where it gets a little confusing, and this is where you might want to go to that website and read about it. Basically, we have to do this bit of code here. Alright, so go back in, go here, and we need to set some things. So audio format dot encoding dot PCM underscore assigned. We need to get the base format's sample rate 16 base format that get channel. The reason why I'm so quiet is because I actually don't know much of this. I'm not a sound expert, so I'm just really following and copying this code down. Base format dot get channels times 2 base format dot get sample rate, and false. Alright, so that's it. That's the decoded formats. So you set the encoding, the sample rate, the sample size in bits, the channels, the frame size, the frame rate, and the big endian. I'm not sure what that is. Anyways, now that we have the decoded format, we need to recreate this. We need to create a new audio input stream with that format. Audio input stream decoded in equals audio system dot get audio input stream, and we're gonna give it the decoded format and input. So we're basically gonna say take this input that we loaded up from the resource and give it this new decoded format and basically decode it. Now at this point we're gonna do this same code here, essentially. So just copy and paste that down. Don't need that return there because at the end it'll return anyways. So clip C equals the audio system clip C.open, and we need to open on decoded in and put it at name and C. Alright, so at this point we've loaded in the sound file, and now it's time to get to playing it and adjusting the volume. Alright, so playing it is fairly simple. It's actually really simple. Public void play, all you need is the name to locate the file in the hash map and the loop count. Alright. If sounds.get, so for some reason you're trying to play a sound that's already running, or like you're spamming your keys and the sound effect hasn't finished, then we're just gonna stop it. Because you can't have two sound effects running at the same time, essentially. So do that, and then when we go to loop it, we need to set the frame position to 0, basically set it to the beginning of the frames, and then loop it by doing name dot loop, and the loop count is going to be the loop count. That's it for play. Pretty simple. Now I'm not going to include pause, resume, stop, all those things. You guys could probably figure that out on your own, and I just don't think it's necessary for this game. But if you want, it's pretty simple. Clip has a bunch of methods for pausing and resuming. It wouldn't be that difficult to add those in. And value. Alright, so now adjust volume. We need to establish a float control. Control equals float control. This will basically give us access to modify the volume. Alright, just type all that out. It's a lot in one line, but now that we have the control, it's really simple. We just set the value to the value. So this is sort of like, it's not decibels really, but it's sort of like some sound value. And the sound value is on it's from -80 to 6. 6 being the loudest and -80 being the quietest. If you do anything less than -80 or greater than +6, you're going to get an error, an illegal argument error, I'm pretty sure, exception. Yeah, one of those things. Anyways, we're done with this class here. So now go into the game board and let's play with it. First of all, we need to create, of course, an audio handler. We need to have, let's just call it audio for simplicity purposes. Now remember, this audio handler, there's only one instance of it, and because we set it up how we did, we're going to have to set that equal to audiohandler.getInstance. So this will make sure that worldwide, basically in any class, there's going to be the same hash map of sounds, if that makes sense. Probably should have explained it like that. But once you load sounds, you can load sounds from one class and play them in another class. Once they're loaded once, they're loaded forever, and you don't have to worry about doing that again. Because loading things can take a while depending on how big the file is and how many you need to load. But anyways, at this point, we just need to load our main song.mp3. And we're going to call it BG for background. Also going to load our click.wave and call it click. We're going to adjust the volume of our background music. So adjust the volume background, and this is where you can set it anything from -80 to +6. -10 is quieter than normal, so we're going to set it quieter, and if you want it even quieter, you can. And audio.play BG clip.loop continuously. Now this value, if you look at it, it's actually just -1, but because we're just saying, alright, just take whatever value that's passed in and give it right to the loop, you can do that. You can call, like right here, you could call clip.loop continuously, and instead of looping -1 times, it would just go on forever. Anyways, now we have that set up. We have the background music running. Now we need to play the clicking sound effects, and that's really simple. All you have to do is go all the way down into your method where you move. Basically, we're only going to make a sound effect if you moved. If you didn't move, then don't add a sound effect. Otherwise, we're going to do audio.play click and 0. Now, it is important that you put 0 here. If you were to put 1, the sound effect would sound different. It would sound messed up. 0 guarantees that it'll play nicely. It'll just play once and end. Instead of loop, I think loop 1 would play it and then replay it once. Anyways, 0. If you're playing things once, use 0. Now I think we're ready to test this out. Now, am I recording sound on my computer? I hope I am. Anyways, you guys will definitely be able to hear it anyways. So, there you hear it. So there's the background music there. And there's the clicking sound effect. And there you go. So that's it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we'll probably be focusing on GUI elements and like buttons on the main menu screen, leaderboards. That's going to be a few tutorials worth of stuff because GUI is quite in depth. And I hope you guys learned something about sound. I certainly did when I was learning this. And yeah, see you guys in the next tutorial. Bye.